Joining me now is Andersen Capital Management's Chief Investment Officer, Peter Andersen. Peter, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
What a move. Do you think this has legs through year end and into 2025? And how much of President Trump's second-term policies are already priced into this market?
You know, Maria, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've never been more optimistic and enthusiastic about the future of markets, especially immediately next year. I think that President Trump will probably learn from his first administration the mistakes he's made. And also, of course, there are the issues of tariffs, which are very, very hard to figure out. But I will say this, that no matter how you fall in the tariff picture, one thing we know for certain is that President Trump really watches the markets as an instant feedback mechanism for how he's doing. So I have great confidence that he will always be looking at the markets, and the decisions he makes will be very much factored into that.
Yeah, I mean, you've said that you think growth versus inflation could be a big issue. Walk us through that, because inflation has come off of the highs, but with President Trump's plans to really put growth as a priority, does it spark inflation further?
That is the one wrinkle that I do worry about is let's just put the tariffs on the sidelines for now. But if we are expecting tremendous growth, of course, with tremendous growth will probably come inflation. And then, of course, the Fed picture comes into play. And if the Fed starts raising rates to counter that inflation, that could be an issue. Remember, 2 years ago, I suffered through that incredible domain of rate hikes. And so that could be possible again. But again, I think that he will be very sensitive to that because he doesn't like inflation. He doesn't like high interest rates. So somehow I think he'll probably negotiate around that. I don't know how yet, but I do have great confidence that that probably will be taken care of.
Well, Amazon's cloud computing service announcing plans for a massive AI supercomputer called Ultra Cluster. It's made up of hundreds of thousands of homegrown Trainium chips. The chip cluster will be used by AI startup Anthropic, which Amazon recently invested an additional $4 billion in to lower the cost of AI. It's seeking to build an alternative to NVIDIA. Peter, you've got a new op-ed on Forbes titled AI is all picks and shovels, no gold. You write, quote, we should expect AI advances to show up in repetitive tasks, call centers and other low-level functions, but we should be careful thinking that AI will advance beyond that. I think a lot of people are worried exactly about that. So tell us more about your thinking here.
Amen. You know, Maria, it takes some courage to write an op-ed like that in the face of so much enthusiasm about artificial intelligence. But for the past 6 months, I've been extremely concerned that we've lost our way. Why are we doing all this large construction when we still don't have any impact, you know, to the bottom line, the profits? You ask CEOs of these large companies why they are building out so much of this, and their answer is, well, because our competitors are. This has the classic signs of a bubble. I am not totally against AI. I think it does have useful applications, but we have to scale down our expectations of this. This is so far away from emulating human thought, for instance, that we've also been misguided thinking that computers are going to replace the way we think, etc. That is probably about 20 Nobel Prizes away, if at all.
Really?
And one last thing, just use this simple analogy. Your human brain is about the size of 2 fists. Look at the size of, say, ChatGPT, the real estate. Obviously, we are not on the correct track of emulating human thought. We are on the total wrong side of this, but it does have some limited applications.
Well, I mean, look, you see robots walking around, Rebecca, and you get scared. Jump in here. Are you on the other side of that trade?
I appreciate your opinion, Peter, but, you know, when I was at my London School of Economics MBA program, the AI was scary. It was the rise of the machines. It was, wow, this is going to take over. And yes, it's not here, and there's a long runway, but the fact that we have brain chips now that can read your thought and actually execute computer things, that just, yes, the frontier is not here yet, but it is coming, and it is coming pretty quickly, I think.
Adam Johnson, what do you think?
Well, you know, just as every company had to become an e-commerce company 10 years ago and then a cloud company 5 years ago, I do think that artificial intelligence, even if we don't entirely understand where it's going, I do think it's part of the fabric. And I think companies would be irresponsible not to pursue it in some capacity.
Final word, Peter.
Well, I agree with what you're saying. However, let's put it, some limits on this. For instance, should we use nuclear power plants to power a vanity project called AI for Amazon? I think we've kind of lost our expectations in terms of the scale of this thing. I'm not against AI, but let's just put it, for instance, a year from now, if these companies don't have show me the results, I think that there could be a strict trade-off in those stocks simply because they haven't made much progress.
All right, we'll leave it there. Peter, great piece to debate. It sparked our thinking there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Peter Andersen joining us. Your morning mover this morning is